What ho, everybody! Welcome aboard for another chapter of Tuck Everlasting. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey, Logan, where did you get that burn on your arm? Well, I'll tell you. I was taking a pizza out of an oven at my good buddy's house when I bumped my arm on the edge of the oven there, and it burned and it hurt, for a second. Then, just a little bit ago, let me see if I can eat. Just a little bit ago, I bumped it again, and the burn blister tore open. So it didn't hurt before, but it kind of does now. So, show and tell over. Tuck Everlasting can now start. We're going to start in here with chapter 22. Let's see what's under the hood, you wild hooligans. Next morning, Winnie went out to the fence directly after breakfast. It was the hottest day yet, so heavy that the slightest exertion brought on a flood of perspiration and exhaustion in the joints. 2 days before, they would have insisted that she stay indoors, but now, this morning, they were careful with her, a little gingerly as if she were an egg. She had said, "I'm going outside now." And they had said, "All right, but come in if it gets too hot, won't you, dear?" And she had answered, "Yes." The earth, where it was worn bald under the gate, was cracked and hard as a rock, a lifeless tan color, and the road was an aisle of brilliant velvet dust. Winnie leaned against the fence, her hands gripping the worn metal of the bars, and thought about Mae behind another set of bars in the jailhouse. And then, lifting her head, she saw the toad. It was squatting where she had seen it first, across the road. "Hello," she said, very glad to see it. The toad did not so much as flick a muscle or blink an eye. It looked dried out today, parched. "It's thirsty," said Winnie to herself. "No wonder on a day like this." She left the fence and went back to the cottage. "Granny, can I have some water in a dish? There's a toad out in front that looks as if he's just about to die of thirst." "A toad?" said her grandmother, wrinkling her nose in disgust. "Nasty things, toads." "Not this one," said Winnie. "This one is always out there, and I like him. Can I give him a drink of water?" "Toads don't drink water, Winifred. It wouldn't do him any good." "They don't drink water at all?" "No, they take it in through their skin, like a sponge when it rains." "But it hasn't rained in forever," said Winnie, alarmed. "I could sprinkle some water on him, couldn't I? That would help, wouldn't it?" "Well, I suppose so," said her grandmother. "Where is he, in the yard?" "No," said Winnie. "He's across the road." "I'll come with you, then. I don't want you leaving the yard alone." But when they came out to the fence, Winnie balancing a small bowl of water with enormous care, the toad was gone. "Well, he must be all right," said her grandmother, "if he could hop off." With mingled disappointment and relief, Winnie tipped the water onto the cracked earth at the gate. It was sucked in immediately, and the wet brown stain it left behind paled and vanished almost as quickly. "I never seen such heat in all my life," said Winnie's grandmother, dabbing uselessly at her neck with a handkerchief. "Don't stay out here much longer." "I won't," said Winnie, and was left alone once more. She sat down on the grass and sighed. Mae! What could she do to set Mae free? She closed her eyes against the glaring light and watched a little dizzily as brilliant patterns of red and orange danced inside her eyelids. And then, miraculously, Jesse was there, crouching just on the other side of the fence. "Winnie," he hissed. "You sleeping?" "Oh, Jesse!" Her eyes flew open and she reached through the fence to grasp his hand. "I'm so glad to see you. What can we do? We have to get her out." "Miles got a plan, but I don't see how it can work," said Jesse, speaking quickly, his voice almost a whisper. "He knows a lot about carpentering. He says he can take Ma's window frame right straight out of the wall, bars and all, and she can climb through. We're going to try it tonight when it gets dark. Only trouble is the constable keeps watching her every minute. He's so darn proud of having a prisoner in that new jail of his. We've been down to see her. She's all right, but even if she can climb through the window, he'll come after her soon's he sees her gone. Seems to me he'll notice right off. That don't give us much time to get away, but we got to try it. There ain't no other way. Anyhow, I come to say goodbye. We won't be able to come back here for a long, long time, Winnie, if we get away. I mean, they'll be looking for Ma. Winnie, listen, I won't see you again, not for ages. Look now, here's a bottle of water from the spring. You keep it. And then no matter where you are, when you're 17, Winnie, you can drink it, and then come find us. We'll leave directions somehow. Winnie, please say you will. He pressed the little bottle into her hands, and Winnie took it, closing her fingers over it. Jesse, wait, she whispered breathlessly, for all at once she had the answer. I can help. When your mother climbs out the window, I'll climb in and take her place. I can wrap myself up in her blanket, and when the constable looks in, he won't be able to tell the difference, not in the dark. I can hump up and look a lot bigger. Miles can even put the window back. That would give you time to get away. You'd have at least till morning. Jesse squinted at her, and then he said, Yep, it might work. It might just make the difference, but I don't know as Pa's going to want you taking any risk. I mean, what'll they say to you when they find out? I don't know, said Winnie, but it doesn't matter. Tell your father I want to help. I have to help. If it wasn't for me, there wouldn't have been any trouble in the first place. Tell him I have to. Well, all right. Can you get out after dark? Yes, said Winnie. Then, at midnight, Winnie, I'll be waiting for you right here at midnight. Winifred! An anxious voice called from the cottage. Who's that you're talking to? Winnie stood up and turned to answer. It's just a boy, Granny. I'll be in a minute. In a minute. When she turned around again, Jessie was gone. Winnie clutched the little bottle in her hands and tried to control the rising excitement that made her breath catch. At midnight, she would make a difference in the world. Some powerful stuff. That's the end of the chapter. Let's look back here, see what we see. Now, sorry about the very first line. I kind of flubbed that, didn't I? Next morning, Winnie went out to the fence directly after breakfast. Winnie went out. Who washed Washington's white woolen underwear when Washington's washerwoman went west? 2 days before they would, gingerly, as if she were an egg. As if she were an egg. I think you guys are starting to catch on. You guys seem like you're pretty smart. As if she were an egg. I think you guys can tell what part of speech that was just there. The road was an isle of brilliant velvet dust. Was an isle of brilliant velvet dust. Not like her as. You guys get it. Now I thought this was really cool. They're on page 111 for me. I don't know what it is for you. But on page 111, towards the bottom, Winnie leaned against the fence, her hands gripping the warm metal of the bars, and thought about Mae behind another set of bars in the jailhouse. Now this is cool because she's holding on to these bars and she thinks, Mae's behind other bars in the jail. But has Winnie always felt free to leave? Has Winnie always felt perfectly, at ease in her home? In the nice cottage she lives in? The bars that run around, the fence that runs around, is her home, is her cottage, is her family, is all their rules and strictures and everything. Is it like Winnie is also in jail? Think about that. I don't know. I think Natalie knows what she's up to with her writing. So that she sees the toad again. That toad came back around Toad's probably one of my favorite characters in the whole book, not gonna lie. Just never causes any drama. Always so low-key. Just a good bud to have around. That Toad. But grandmother, oh, nasty things, toads. And she says toads don't drink water. They have to absorb it through their skin, like when it rains or when they go into a pond or something. They are amphibians, after all. That goes through their skin like a sponge. Now, like a sponge. That's the part of speech. But I just think that might come back around later, the water going through the toad's skin. It came out of the fence. The toad is gone. And Jesse's there. She closes her eyes. She's thinking about how hot it is, and she sees the little shapes moving around in her eyes. You've all done that. You've all been there. Close her eyes. She sees all the little shapes. Jesse whispers, "You sleeping?" This is the second time Winnie has not really been asleep when Jesse whispers, "You sleeping?" He must think she's just the sleepiest person. But then, even as I can't. Well, I guess she was sitting there with her eyes closed on a hot day. Have you ever dozed off in the sunshine? I have a couple of times. Don't do it. It's not good for you. Only trouble is the constable keeps watching her. So Miles has a plan to pop the window out of the jail, sneak Ma out the window, and Winnie has volunteered to help. Winnie wants to help. She wants to crawl in through the window, into the bed, and snuggle all up and bunch on up and make herself look like, Mae Tuck. So, because I guess they could do, what those guys did when they were escaping Alcatraz and make a plaster face with hair on it and put that under the covers and lump up some pillows or something under there to make it look like a person. But they don't have time for that. They don't have time for arts and crafts like Clint Eastwood did. They got to do stuff now. And so Winnie is helping him. Winnie's going to help him. She's going to crawl into the window, and she even says, the very last line, she would make a difference in the world. She would make a difference in the world. Winnie said she wants to help. She's volunteering. She says, I'm done with sitting around. I'm done with letting life happen to me. I am going to start making stuff happen. I'm going to be a bigger part. I'm going to be a main character in my own life story. How do you like that? That's pretty sweet. So, I am excited. I feel like there's a climactic scene right around the corner. And that was the end of chapter 22, and I'll catch you guys next time for 23. How about a quick joke before you go? All right. Say, what's a pirate's favorite letter? You'd think it'd be R, but their first love is the C. Keep that in your back pocket.